Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rabbit Hole Heroines. I am Jessica, the big weird mom.
And I'm Jess, crazy mother runner.
Well, we've got an amazing guest for you today. We have Lauren, the TheZenBlonde. If you want to just take a minute and tell us who you are, where you come from, and what you are all about on your TikTok page.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like you guys during this pandemic, I just started screaming into the void of TikTok, and nobody is more surprised than me that people are listening to it.
What happened?
The royal family, and really just anything pop culture, psychology, or travel related that interests me.
Awesome. It looks like we're having a little bit of a goofy problem with your mic, but
yeah,
you're going in and out there. But so yeah, we just wanted to let everyone know, obviously this is kind of a departure from Jess and I's normal content. I do a little bit of pop culture stuff, but this is a little bit new to us. But as I said, the TheZenBlonde has Lauren. She has really dove in deep to some really interesting rabbit holes, and we're really looking forward to discussing what's relevant in the world right now. So before we start with that, we kind of want to just take a minute and get caught up on what's been happening in the world of QAnon and Parler this last couple of weeks. So Crazy Mother Runner, what are the crazies saying?
Okay, so probably my most recent one is Simon Parks, who I kind of frequent and visit his BitChute, just kind of touch base, see what he's talking about. Big thing was apparently he had one of his connective consciousness, which he basically says he's got this whole group of people that are connected mentally, spiritually. He has little leaders in different states and countries that like kind of take over the group that's in their area. And I guess one of the members committed suicide to avoid taking the vaccine. And then he also, and he also kind of laid wait to like some members also losing family members along the same reasoning, like not them directly, but somebody close to them. So I don't know. I did a video about it. I'm kind of torn. I'm like, is he being for real? Is he trying to implant an idea in these people's heads? Like, I really don't know. I of course Googled, like, did anyone do this? And I couldn't come up with anything. But yeah, I'm just kind of blown away because it's a like perfect correlation on how much power they've placed on these conspiracies, like particularly around the vaccine, I guess, right now, and just creating like, I'd rather take my own life than have a vaccine injected in my body. It's just crazy. Yeah.
I want to know what is the alternative that is worse than committing suicide? Like if you're going to be killed by the virus or like, I don't know.
Well, I just want to know what's worse too, because it's like, it's not demanded, but it's not something you have to do. But I will tell you from being in the Telegram chats, especially the like I'm in two particular ones. One's the QAnon and then one's a Parler Hub. And they actually call themselves Parler Hub Research. It's a pretty small group of people. But what I find interesting is they have said that, like they've presented articles and stuff for the US kind of acting like, oh yeah, this is going to be mandated. They're going to make you do it. So they're creating this idea and this fear in these people's heads. I mean, obviously we want as many people to do it as possible because, herd immunity and protecting lives and so on and so forth. But like, it's not mandatory. So it just blows my mind that they're presenting it in these chats. Like, you're going to have to do it. You won't be able to travel without it. And so I think that's where that's coming from. And I mean, so for me, I believe that it could have totally happened because they are already putting that fear in their minds that this is like reality.
Right.
So, yeah. We'll see.
I'll take your unwanted vaccine any day. Give me the vaccine.
Yeah.
I actually got it 5 weeks ago this past Monday, the second shot. So
Nice.
I'm alive to tell
Congratulations.
about it.
Oh,
How's your
that
cell
is
phone
amazing.
coverage?
It's great. Cell phone. Actually, no, it's not. It sucks in my house, but everywhere else, it's great.
Well, to be honest, there's not a whole lot going on Parler this week. Vaccine related, I did see something this morning where apparently they are convinced that the vaccine now has hormones that are going to start transitioning kids for like to make them transgender. So they think that this this vaccine is literally injecting kids with some sort of hormone that is going to start a transition within a child to make them transgender.
It's not even approved
so-
for kids under the age of 16. Like, what are you talking about?
It's so creative how they weave that transphobia in there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You can't leave out the transphobia. Like and the super straight movement, which I think all of us have seen predominantly on TikTok, has really put transphobia and just the trans community at the front line right now. So I mean, lately I've probably made I've been more political than conspiracy lately, because that's been a big topic for me. And I'm over it. Like the fact that people don't recognize the reason behind this movement had nothing to do with and I actually had an argument with a very nasty person who I reported, but he was like, it's not, I'm just super straight. And I'm going, okay, so the whole movement is basically saying that I'm not attracted to trans women because I don't believe they are actually women. Like that's what the guy in the original video said. Like I don't deem them as real women. And I'm like, so basically what you're saying is you are attracted to trans men. And he did not like that. So and then somehow he started calling me racist. It was a lot. It was a really great back and forth.
Yeah, that's their go-to is, if you differentiate anyone's race, that means that you are racist. And then the other thing that they love to throw in is, if you say anything about something being inherently male or inherently female, it's like, well, I thought that there wasn't supposed to be two genders. I thought that there was, and no one has a gender now. Like they just think that everyone is.
Yeah. They don't understand the difference
anymore.
Between sex and gender. They're two different things, but it's a lot.
and the other thing I've seen on Parler is a lot of people who are nervous. They're like, should I be posting? What is everyone saying? Like, does anybody want to actually like be back on Parler now? And does anyone feel safe? And the answer is no, you're not safe. And everyone has demonstrated that, especially after the insurrection, but they continue to do it. So I'm thankful for that.
What about Milo? Like, I'm kind of curious.
Oh my gosh, Milo. So I can't keep up with that guy.
He's a mess.
He is an ex-gay now. And even though he's still married to a man who has been downgraded to roommate, but he started a foundation to fund these. Gosh, I'm blanking. The gender, no, the risk, the gay.
Like a camp, like an education camp.
Conversion, yeah. Gay conversion.
I saw that.
And he's like full on Mike Pence, shock therapy, gay conversion camp. Like it makes me sick to my stomach. And
he did a really lengthy interview too. Recently.
He did. Yeah, he did. And maybe next week we can get some video footage of that. But, I am 100% convinced that this guy is he's really in it for the attention. I mean, he knows that he is 100% irrelevant at this point. And I feel a little bit conflicted posting his content and giving him more airtime. But on the other hand, like, this is the type of crazy that is being fed, to the people who believe this. And, going back to the vaccine, I saw a statistic the other day that 50% of Trump supporters and Republicans, which is two different things at this point, are saying that they don't want to take the vaccine. 50%.
Yeah.
Like, that is
huge.
so dangerous. And as somebody with a high risk daughter, we got the vaccine because we're technically her caretakers, and we got her pediatrician to kind of sign off on us being her caretakers, even though she did have home health and everything when she came home. But that puts my daughter at risk, and that's not okay. And the fact that all of this science is being blatantly ignored is really, it's really disturbing, and people need to know about it. So
yeah,
that's my moral justification.
It's a shame that it was ever politicized in the first place, because you see in other countries where people just came together for a unique, like a similar cause. And I think it could have really been an opportunity for people to unite. But instead we have this crazy malignant QAnon stuff happen. And we saw, how that played out. And I think, so you're saying Parler has quieted down now that Trump's out of office? Because I'm not on Parler.
Yeah, they have.
After that.
It seems like people are a little nervous to be posting stuff, but I'm sure they'll ramp up and get going again soon here. Where have they moved the goalpost again, Jess?
So the new date, which I think is funny, it's 3 days away. March 20th is the most recent date. But I will say that, Simon, he's the king of like alluding to no set anything. So he said like anytime between now and mid-April, and April 9th was a date at one point. And then he was talking about things going on in even the UK in the June, July, like talk about reaching way into the future. And I'm just like, when March 4th came and went, like, I mean, I get you, like January 6th, January 20th, like how many days need to accumulate and pass before they go, okay, maybe we've been duped. Like maybe this isn't happening. But that March 20th, I don't really know the significance behind it, but it's definitely a date I've been seeing quite a bit.
Yeah. Rowdy girl, you got it right on the head here. We need that herd immunity, and it's been shown actually that the U.S. is actually, now that Biden is in office, U.S. is actually handling the vaccine rollout really well, better than other countries. And the fact that now we have these people who just flat out refuse to take it, it's going to be causing really big problems for our kids and for our parents and grandparents. So, well, let's pivot gears to maybe something a little bit, I don't know if you want to say more lighthearted, but TheZenBlonde, Lauren, why don't you, oh, look, it's my cat. Hey, what's up, dude?
Oh my God, mine's right there.
I'm trying to keep my dogs out of the room. We don't want the dogs.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and how you kind of rose to fame on TikTok, and who you know and love, and just tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, I am in Venice. I have been incredibly responsible with this virus, and so I've been pretty much a shut-in. I have a few friends that I trust to see outside, but then some that I don't. And so I started screaming into the TikTok void. Pop culture is totally my diversion. And, I started getting on Reddit, and a friend of mine, Caitlin, actually led me to a post regarding Casey Hammer's book, Armie Hammer's Aunt. It's called Surviving My Birthright. And so I was actually listening to it on Audible. I turned the speed up to 1.6 and just realized that there was like so much history of the Hammer family doing dastardly things. But this was at the same time that all the Armie Hammer stuff was coming out. And if your audience doesn't know about that, a bunch of women came forward saying that, they had relationships with him that involved something that could have looked like kink or BDSM, but it actually crossed the line where there wasn't consent in many of the acts, and so that then became sexual assault and rape. And like 5 women came forward, maybe 6. And, he's just off in Cayman Islands, chilling out. But, because of his family.
Oh.
She was sounds.
Am I good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You're good. Oh, maybe not. middle of LA, and she's having some internet issues. Let's see.
But if you guys want to give them the rundown, I'm gonna.
Oh.
Okay, I think she's gonna try to fix some sound.
Let me see if I can fix this. Hold on.
You sounded great, and then
you're doing really good. For once, it's not me.
No.
Yay!
Oh my God! Well, I feel so bad. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Let me just see.
I think I was hearing you for a second there. Yeah, Tracy. Oh, I can hear you now. Can you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again. So anyway, this Vanity Fair article just came out. I just did an episode on Juicy Scoop, and we kind of ran through it. But the history of Armie Hammer's family being crazy started with his great grandfather, and it started with a bunch of stuff in the Soviet Union, including espionage. And then, moved over to the States where there was, all sorts of crazy things. The first kind of thing was his great grandfather, Julius Hammer, ended up going to jail for, actually killing a Russian diplomat's wife while giving her an abortion. And later on, they
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, there you go.
We're good.
I think maybe
not.
We can hear you, but then
yeah, we can hear you.
Was really with the great grandfather. And so anyway, he ends up coming to the United States, investing in an oil company through this very wealthy woman who had money. Trickled down from there. He had a mistress who when his wife he found out about her, he made her legally change her name, change her appearance, and put her on the company payroll like a normal person would.
Oh no.
So it was crazy stuff. And then her Armand's son Julian, who would have been Armie Hammer's dad and Casey Hammer's father, and aka Armie Hammer's grandfather, he was another one where the family was so wealthy at that point that he killed a man on his 26th birthday over a gambling debt because he was hitting on his wife. And somebody dropped $50,000 off to a lawyer, and it was written off as manslaughter. But, the woman that was there, the mother, tells a different account that he was just killed because it was a gambling debt and he was hitting on his wife. So, and a lot of this, there's 2 books that you can kind of read to uncover all of this. There's Jay Epstein's book about Armie Hammer that uncovers a lot of it. And then there is
because of
Casey
course
Hammer's
they're connected
book,
to the Epsteins. Oh no, it seems like when I talk it screws it up.
You're breaking it, Jessica.
I broke Lauren. Is she back? Oh goodness.
Am I back?
Yeah.
There she goes. You're back.
You guys, I feel like I'm in the middle of LA. I feel like I'm in Nepal recording live. Well, anyway, so where was I? I totally just lost my train of thought. Of course, now that I'm flustered by that. But okay. So yeah, anyway, there's 2 different books that you can kind of read to get the history of all this. But the whole Epstein connection, because that kind of connects to your guys' like QAnon wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I feel like in your wheelhouse, those people connect everyone to Epstein. If they don't like somebody, they were on Epstein Island. Like they're like,
Yep.
Oprah was on Epstein Island. Oprah's, drinking the adrenochrome. Look at Jess. That's not wine. That's adrenochrome or whatever that she's sipping over there.
I'm almost 40. Okay. No.
And I mean, look at the skin. It's the adrenochrome for sure.
It is 100%.
Just nothing quite like it. So anyway, but the interesting connection with Epstein is, and we kind of uncovered this, I got a tip from somebody that was a pretty credible source that Epstein bought a gallery that was owned by Armie Hammer's father from Armie Hammer's father.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I can't really tie anything back to this. And I actually found his apartment was a block away. And the person who supposedly owned it was ended up being fired from their position because they were paying him some exorbitant amount of money every year. And he was also the owner of the place. So there's something weird going on there. And I haven't quite figured it out. But that gallery was really interesting too. And did you guys see the documentary on Netflix called Made You Look?
No.
Okay, so you should check it out. It's all about Armie Hammer's father's gallery. It's called the Nobler Gallery. So it's called the Nobler Gallery, 165 years old, and was passed down from Armie Hammer to Armie Hammer's father. And, they basically sold fake art to the tune of $80 million and got caught eventually. And Armie Hammer's father was at the top of the operation, but technically he was so far removed in Grand Cayman, where he moved because of that movie, The Firm, after he inherited all that money, that, the person that really took the fall was like the woman running the gallery. But basically, somebody just rolls up from Long Island, and is like, oh, I have these Jackson Pollock, Rothko, and Motherwell paintings that, fell off the truck, in a sense, like, oh, this person is really wealthy. They don't care about making money on these. They can be making maybe $10 million on this painting, but they're going to sell it to you for $100,000. That sounds perfectly reasonable because they just don't care about money.
Yeah.
They just don't. They don't care about money. It makes zero sense. So basically, the woman is procuring art from this woman that had pulled up randomly, had no art background. I never checked into the origin of the paintings. So she was getting them for years, and then eventually these internal sort of review boards that review art to establish its veracity. They were like, oh, there's a lot of things that are off about this. And it turned out it was 3 people in the operation, 1 man from China who was getting everything down to the nails from the time that those paintings would have been made to recreate what would look like Jackson Pollock, Rothko, Motherwell works. And they sold $80 million worth of them. So,
oh my gosh.
Do
they have any connections to the mob? It just sounds like gangster stuff.
It does.
I mean, they might be the mob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to get away with that and have I don't know. That seems like big time.
But
crime
it's not
stuff.
The first time in this family. The grandfather Armand was friends with Prince Charles. He was friends with Nixon. He was friends with George H.W. Bush.
Connected.
And totally connected. I mean, getting your son off for murder. And so he actually, contributed money to Nixon that was in direct connection to allegedly Watergate. And he got in trouble for obstruction of justice, and George H.W. Bush pardoned him. So that's how connected.
Yeah.
The
sounds like Trump's crew.
Yeah.
Do they have any Trump connections?
That would be a good rabbit hole to go down.
That would be. Yeah, that would be interesting. Seriously.
Oh man.
I'm curious to the families he's connected with, because the shit that he gets away with, just it blows my mind. I'm sorry. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, you know, and when we talk about the 1%, and how much wealth, is up in that crew, like a lot of that has to do with pull and connections and who knows who, and obviously who's pardoning who. And like, it's amazing just like, you know, how connected everything is. And speaking of the royal family, you've done a lot of videos about them recently. And, you know, my followers don't know this about me, but I'm just a little bit obsessed with the royal family and all of the crazy gossip that goes with that.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God. Yes. I'm so happy. Oh, it's like, I don't know what it is. I've always been like a fan. I was like definitely up at like 5 a.m. watching Kate and Will get married.
Yes. Same.
Yep.
You know,
Same.
like, and I had like a Jimmy John sandwich. It was like it was a scene.
I legit
and
had
then even,
croissants and like,
you had
like,
an English spread?
I had an English spread with mimosas. Okay. I wasn't even messing around. My husband hated me that day because I made him get up with me.
Did you dress up like Oprah and wear like
No,
a fancy
I wasn't.
hat and, like,
I was
pretend you were there?
I was dressed. It wasn't in anything appropriate or worthy of the royal family, but I was, you know.
I like think I like just was like lying in bed in awe. And then the other one, Meghan and Harry's, I was in India and I went to an internet cafe, like went like great lengths to see it. So, I mean, I really am dedicated. Yeah. But I mean, recently, I mean, geez, I mean, did anyone have to remove their jaw from the floor during that Oprah interview other than me?
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was crazy. And when I posted something about the actual just preview, people were like, they're going to talk about the media. They're not going to talk about the family. And first I like live streamed it from Facebook somehow. My friend got a link because I'm on the West Coast. And I was like, no, I need to see this immediately. And the second time I watched it on my TV, I watched it twice. And I actually like streamed with the people of TikTok so we could like live react and have a fun time with that. Yeah. And I mean, I was just so shaken. I really feel bad for Meghan and Harry. I know a lot of monarchists. I know a lot of people who aren't happy with them, but I feel like she endured so much. Nobody should have to endure that. What do you guys think? What's your take? Are you team monarch or team Meghan?
Well, I don't know. Did y'all see the thing that there's some rumor that Prince William had an affair? This was a TikTok. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you saw that, and like it was all during the time when there was so much criticism around Markle. And the monarchy put it in, like, even though we don't know if it was true, but there was rumors and the press was trying to dig and they were like, absolutely not. And they just squashed it, but they just let the rampant like abuse of Meghan just go wild. It was the same time frame. So I saw a TikToker today actually who is obsessed with the royal family. He's like new to me, but I just added him as a friend actually yesterday. But he's like really been digging, and he talked about the fact that Harry probably is like actually fathered by that, polo, whatever, the one that taught Diana how to play, polo.
The timeline on that unfortunately doesn't really line up. And Lauren actually did TikToks on both of those things. We're talking about the timeline with Diana. Yeah. They actually hadn't even met until after Harry was born. So unfortunately, that doesn't really work out.
I know, but he really does look like him.
He looks just like him.
It was eerie.
I thought it for years. And you know what?
And he's got hair.
He looks like Philip when Philip was younger. If you look into that, and the other thing, so that the whole Rose Hanbury thing. Now she's the girl that William allegedly cheated with. So she is a part of their friend group, which they call the Turn Up Toffs, and not like turn up, like turn up like the vegetable.
Oh my god,
yeah,
boring. Okay,
you couldn't have picked a better group name. I mean, I guess the press gave it to them, but I think they call themselves that internally. And so she lived like 3 miles down the road from Kate. And she, I've heard in articles that out of the friend group, like she has the most enviable life. Like Kate Middleton would be like jealous of her. And so what the article like
goofy looking though.
But we all know that like one person who's just that like wispy, like, So I'm sure she's just like has that air about her where she's just like, yeah, I may not be the prettiest, but like I am like the most egoistic. So like it like works for me. And like,
right.
And I'm just like I give like zingers. I don't know. There's always like those queen bees that you're like, how are you the queen bee? Yeah. Kate Middleton should be the queen bee. So anyway, they were great friends. And allegedly when Kate was away and pregnant and doing some sort of like state business, her and William started having dinners, and it turned into hooking up. I saw the one of those accounts that does the like blind stories, like reading them for other people, like was from one of the like the housemaids who said that they like saw them hooking up and found like a condom in the garbage. So, who knows if it's true or not, but William did threaten like legal action, and there must have been some sort of rift because now Kate doesn't hang out with that Rose must have been having trouble in her marriage because she was seen at some events not wearing her wedding ring. And just like, so there was
oh no.
No.
We were doing so well.
I'm back.
She's like, I'm here.
Is she?
No.
I just saw a side shot of that girl that you're talking about, and I was like, really?
Yeah, she's super goofy looking.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one and she wasn't awful, but like, I don't know. I always, it's always weird. Like you were saying, like there's always this like odd ball kind of, okay, I'm going to say this is so personal, but my dad had an affair on my mom, and the woman that he had an affair on, I mean, literally had a gimp and like had thinning hair. I'm like, Dad, like, and my mom was so pretty. And I'm just like, but why? Like, what? So, I mean, obviously it's not a thing. It's a thing, but I just was like, yeah, I saw a side image when I saw the video footage of her on TikTok, supposedly being the one. And I'm just like, really? Like, look at Kate. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And especially while she was pregnant, like, I totally understand that the royal family is problematic. I mean, from top to bottom, obviously it is. I've been a fan of Kate. I think that she's a sweet girl, and obviously, like, she's raised a lot of awareness for hyperemesis, which is what I had during my pregnancies. And like the fact that may or may not have happened while she was pregnant and suffering, and I know how much she was suffering because I've been through the same thing. Like, that's not cool. Well, like, come on, dude.
No. That is not the time.
Right. Exactly. Even during a normal pregnancy, it's not the time. But that being said, I think that after that Oprah interview, it's kind of understandable that these things happen. Like, especially, it's hard to see. And that part of the hardest part of that was hearing that, these people are basically quarantined to their house for months at a time, and like basically at the mercy of their PR agents. And it's like, that's not okay. Like, at this point, the royal family has no power. Like, let them live their lives, let them do their thing. It's just a lot of head scratching from my angle.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all surprised that, it was brought into question, what color the baby would be. And man, is that a nightmare?
I'm so grateful for the memes. Like, like I can't wait until somebody says something to me where I can be like, were you silent or were you silenced? Are just like Oprah's really profound, like, what?
I love the what. I did a video stitching the what. I loved, like, she was like, what?
What?
It was
that
amazing.
amazing. The other thing that they're saying on Parler, I saw InfoWars posted this, that apparently all of the left is not approved, that we apparently do not approve of any type of Oprah memes being used because it's digital blackface. So they're on Parler, they're saying that all of us are like banning Oprah memes because it's somehow some form of
We're here for the Oprah memes. Like, stop making assumptions, okay? Okay, Parler people.
Such a shame, such a shame. I love the Oprah memes. And I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my videos, but there's like another really problematic princess within the royal family. Her name is like Christine Marie or something, but they call her Princess Michael of Kent. And I actually made a petition to make her new name Princess Michael of See You Next Tuesday. And if you get what I'm putting down.
I get
And so anyway, she's awful. The first meeting she had with Meghan, she wore this racist brooch that's called like a Blackmore. It's like a known racist brooch. I heard she got kicked out of another party for wearing it. So it was a very like intentional thing. And her dad was a full-blown Nazi. He was in like the SS. And then she named her black sheep Serena and Venus Williams. She was at a restaurant in the West Village in New York City. And this table was being loud as any table is at 10 p.m. at a restaurant in the West Village in New York City. Like it's always loud in restaurants. And she shushed the table and like slammed her hand down on it. And then she requested a new table. And as she was getting up, and it was a table of like just Black people. And as she was getting up, she went by their table, like circled by them and was like, you should go back to the colonies. And then when they confronted her, so the guy, like one of the guys from the table went up and confronted her and she said, I said, you should remember the colonies. Like, think about it. In like such a like demeaning tone. So
no.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
It's so weird how it's like she comes back.
It's so like random.
I think my body is.
Oh.
What did she say? I think my body is what?
Is it rejecting podcasts? Might need to do a little editing for this one.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what's happening. I usually have blazing, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, they're investigating Meghan for all of these racist remarks. Yeah. Princess Michael of Kent still lives, I believe, in Kensington Palace and is just chilling after all of that whole rap sheet. So it just goes to show what they kind of care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they need to like just straight up skip Charles and just go straight to Will. And so we don't have to deal with any of the nonsense. The other thing that I saw that you posted a couple of weeks ago was when Charles and Camilla were in Canada. I don't know when the footage took place, but they were straight up just like laughing at an Inuit display. And
I saw that.
Stage.
Yes.
Like, come on,
super
guys.
Brand for them. I think they're not like sensitive to anything. And I think we go into like, we look at people and we put them on a pedestal. We're like, oh, well, you're a prince. So you've had media training and you've had diversity training and you've had all this training so that you've done the work, because you have to do the work because you're so in the media, like you have to do the work, right? Mm-hmm. But I think these people are a lot more archaic and, insulated than we even know. And, just watching The Crown, it's like, I don't know that I think probably there's some upper middle class people that are more like refined than them in many ways,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The Crown undid a good 30 years of PR for that family.
Oh yeah.
And it's pretty evident that it's pretty much a documentary at this point.
Mm-hmm. Matter of time.
Yeah. I was so stoked that Gen Z was like annoyed at Camilla because and yes, Charles is an equal party in that and probably actually has more blame. But
no. I'm just going to say no when it happens so you know immediately. You're good. Like immediately after you said it, you went like clear and crystal clear and fine.
It's okay. You're good.
Is it back?
Yeah,
you're good. So anyway, I'm just happy Gen Z knows about Princess Diana now because, I've been harboring this like anger towards Charles and Camilla for so many years. And now that people are younger than me are watching The Crown, because I was 5 when Diana died and I remember where I was. Like, I remember it so vividly, but like, I feel like some people don't, really have any consciousness around what happened or that dynamic.
Yeah. It was terrible.
It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah, I remember it as well. I think I must have been like 7 or 8 years old. And I remember just idolizing her. And like, even like my first engagement ring, I got a little bit of an upgrade, which Someday I'll tell you guys my engagement ring story. It's a freaking doozy. Why I have a second. But anyways,
I want to hear.
I know. Now I want to know.
Tell us.
If we want to go into it, okay, fine. So when my husband and I met when I was like 22 years old, like I was a baby. And a couple years after we met, we went on a Mexico cruise. It was basically just like a booze cruise. And I found this ring in the cruise ship jewelry store, and I was like, "Oh my God, I need this!" It like kind of looked like the Diana ring. It was a circle sapphire with diamonds around it, or what I thought was diamonds. And we had been drinking that day, and obviously, as you do on a cruise. And I was like, babe, you got to come look at this ring. I was like, this is like so perfect. And it's like so cheap. It was like $800 or something. And I was like, will you just get it for me? And like, I don't care. Like we had been dating for like 3 or 4 years. So we had talked about it before, and it was just kind of like a whatever matter of time.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he was like, literally my best friend owns a jewelry store. Like we can get you a beautiful ring that looks however you want. And, just like, don't do this right now. Like, and I was like, no, but you're never going to propose to me. And I did this whole whatever. It was pathetic. And so he was like, okay, fine. He's like, I'll just buy it for you, whatever. And so he proposed to me, and we went on. He proposed after the fact. It was a couple months later, and got married. I had a custom wedding band designed to fit around this ring, and then we got married. And a couple of it was like a year after we got married. One of the diamonds fell out, and I took it to this jeweler. That was his friend. And she's like, these aren't diamonds, honey. She's like, these are glass. And she's like, let's get you another ring. And I was like, okay, well, it has some warranty or something. And I said, okay, I'm just going to see what the warranty says. Maybe we can at least like get our money back, whatever. And I contacted the cruise ship company, and they're like, okay, we'll just send it back to this random address in LA, and we'll send you a new one. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Even though it's a cheap ring. Like I want to keep it because it's the ring that I got married with, and it has sentimental value. I'm not going to send it to some random address in LA. So I got my upgrade, and my husband thinks that was my plan all along, was to wait to get a nicer ring.
Oh my gosh. That's cute.
Oh my God. I love
I'm
that.
an instant gratification kind of girl.
Same.
And I'm a little bit stubborn. So
Same.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah.
But it
That
looked
is
like
amazing.
Princess Diana's ring. It was really pretty, and
I saw some recent old video
No, I love it.
interviews of her talking, and she was kind of sounding very similar to Meghan. Listen, saying that like the institution, I just don't think I will ever be queen. Like it was really kind of sad to see her have this dialogue that's very similar to Meghan, for different reasons, obviously, but just feeling like an outsider. Like she's like, they've made it very clear to me that I'm not meant for that role. So she's been coming to like the front fort of everything because of Meghan's being kind of on
but it's interesting though that they basically picked her, didn't they? I mean, he wanted to be with Camilla, but the Queen didn't approve of her, and they picked Diana and basically arranged it as far as I can, why would they pick her then?
Right. So from the interview that I saw just recent, like saw it yesterday, there was like little snippets of it. They were basically talking about, it was a 60-minute interview. It looked like an old one. She was just saying that I didn't end up being what they thought I was. Like she was just really insistent. She's like, I am about the heart of the people. and I want to be there. And she's like, and that's not what they are. That's not what they're for. And so it was and in fact, someone I think posted it, snippet that I saw, and was like, is this the reason that, oh my God, it was on Telegram. Oh my God, it was on Telegram. They were like, is this the reason that Diana was murdered? Is basically what the whole, it's yet another conspiracy, but one that I really like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think people, when I knock the conspiracy theory on TikTok, they're like, you want to think that everything's true. I'm like, no, I'm like, I am totally all about questioning reality and questioning authority and government. And I'm like, but you guys are taking it to next level LARPing stuff. Like, it's not, it's not reality. It's not like you literally are like going to find the most far-fetched fantasy fiction movie that you can and going, how can we make this real life?
Yeah.
So like, obviously there are conspiracies that have come true to life. Obviously there are, some things that definitely seem shady. Like, I think Epstein's murder is shady. I think Diana's murder or, death is shady. Like, there's definitely things that I'm like, there's more to this. Like, we don't know the whole truth. But to create the narrative, like the whole good versus evil, tunnels of children, satanic cabal, like we're like, that's next level shit. Like, we're just, that's not where we need to be.
Yeah.
They've taken it too far.
They've taken it too far. Like,
and as humans, we are not designed to be able to hide stuff like that. Like,
no,
there would be a lot more coming out, where you see, people talking about, I listened to a podcast about JFK's assassination last week, and that needs to be, by the way, a rabbit hole that we go down eventually. That whole conspiracy theory.
I mean, they love JFK. We should get on it. We should.
Yeah, and his son. And the fact that they think that, like, there were literally mobsters involved in this, and like, it's like, people can't keep that kind of secret. Like, someone can't keep a secret when they've cheated on their wife. They're going to tell someone down at the bar. Like, even if it's one person involved, they're not going to be able to keep the secret on it.
It's going to get out.
Let alone like dozens of, the CIA and, everything involved. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No. I think, the problem with a lot of these conspiracy theories is there's maybe 3 grains of truth, and then there's so much added to it, and people get so wrapped up and confused. And like, I mean, even with the Army Hammer stuff, sometimes I'm like, am I the leader of Army Hammer QAnon? Because it's like, I get so many things in my inbox, and I'm like, are we going to storm the Ritz Grand Cayman and tie him up in shibari knots and be like, what did you do to those women?
Is he still down there?
Yeah, he is. And actually, I do have some like tea for you guys.
Okay.
So one of my followers identified the new blonde girl he's been seen with. And I'm not one to reveal anyone's identity, but I will tell you a few things that I was told. So he's with this girl down in Cayman. She's seen the allegations and she does not care. And her friends are horrified. And I've heard, that's just like the dynamic that's going on right now. Is and I think even her mom.
I mean,
well, I can't say who, but she's just a blonde girl that lives in Grand Cayman, is what I can say. I gotta protect the girl, the boots on the ground, who told me, and I don't want to say too much, but it's out there, and somebody will eventually reveal it. So, it's one of those things where I think people don't understand statistically, for this many women to report, for this, for false reporting, it's less than 5% of people that report. The statistics for people that report is between 8 and 10%. So if 5 people report and the statistic is less than 5% falsely report, what is the writing on the wall there? What is the writing on the wall there? And I've done stuff with Marilyn Manson too, and it's like,
oh my God, I love your Marilyn Manson series. Oh my God, it's like my favorite. No, you're talking about Marilyn Manson. You cannot freeze right now. It's unacceptable. No. No. I absolutely love it. No, you must be able to speak right now.
Am I back? Am I here?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So Brian Warner, my least favorite person in the world. 12 women have come forward. The FBI is investigating him for trafficking and
no
to defend him.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I just
Am I back?
can't.
Yeah,
Am I
you're back.
back?
No,
You're here.
so he's trafficking and the FBI is investigating him and then you cut
so-
out.
So he's been, being invested.
No. No, I want to hear this. No, you have to work. Okay, I'm going to send LA, get it together.
I don't know what's happening. Am I back? I'm not even
Yes.
seeing myself lose. All right. Well, hopefully this works out this time. So anyway, I stopped doing the videos because his book got so just
Dark.
triggering. It's awful. The stuff
Yeah.
that they would do with multiple women backstage as entertainment for the people there, I can't even say out loud. I mean, it got that bad,
And it's in his book. This was his book.
Like he wrote this?
He wrote the book with another writer. And, basically what prompted me to read this is I was really, just coming out about Evan Rachel Wood and all the women that came forward and what the allegations were there. And people are like, well, why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? And I'm like, well, if you weren't surprised, why didn't you do something when you knew that he was doing this stuff? I would have started a riot. I would have been like, we're taken to the streets with tickets and, because I just always assumed, okay, he's a shock rocker. It's gross to me and I don't even want to look at it or touch it or be anywhere near it. So I didn't engage with it.
He was just a eating head guy to me. Like that's all I really knew him for.
Oh my God. The amount of things that I've heard from accounts of people that have been at his concerts. I'm like, why would you go to a concert like that if there's a piñata filled with animal guts and he has a bat stick next to the stage and he says, don't hit it because he knows people are going to hit it. And then what do you think flies all over everyone? Why would you want to be at that concert? Why would you want to subject yourself to that? And it's just a litany of things
factor.
like that. Mm-hmm. It's so
shock
gross.
Factor. Yeah.
It's so gross. But, he's, in my opinion, I think he definitely did all of it. The reason why he's being, looked into for trafficking is one girl thought she was coming out for a music video and then it turned into this whole thing. And I think she was on Game of Thrones, actually.
Oh, wow. Love that show.
And I mean, he chased her around the house with an axe. It's really, really dark stuff. And his book is dark. And I was like, you should be burning sage every day that you like open the book. Like seriously. I received so much criticism for that comment, and I didn't care because I said, I walk in the light. This is a house filled with nice, positive.
No, I don't blame you. That's some dark shit. Like, I don't blame you at all. But I love the series because I love true crime and stuff like that. But it was just like, I can't believe that was happening. And it was just like, okay, it's fine.
Oh my God. Terrible, terrible. And, Evan Rachel Wood's really being a champion for, the statute of limitations, because when you go through that kind of trauma, it takes a while to process it. And then reporting is awful. Statistically, reporting, women lose $250,000 over the span of their life for reporting because they have to miss work. It derails their lives. They're re-traumatized. Like people are like, oh, it's for financial gain or attention. And it's like, these women a lot of them are famous, and this isn't fun for them. This is the worst experience of their life, is reporting. And that's why so few women do. So anyway, I could talk about Brian Warner all day, but I can't stand the man. And I hate that he's in LA. I hope that he's
I'm curious, how is his book set up if it reveals so much? I mean, you say it's written by him, and he just writes about all of this abuse that he's done against these women. Oh, she's frozen again. Oh no.
Sorry, guys.
Are you there? Did you watch this series, Jessica?
I didn't. I watched a couple of them. I think I watched the first few, but since we've been totally out with Rod's stuff, I have not gotten caught up with her videos. But it looks like you're back, so you can go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Wow, I must be absorbing the Wi-Fi. So anyway, with the Marilyn Manson series, he set up the book childhood, and he had like some trauma in his childhood, and then he goes through his years. The grandpa was like, all sorts of weird. He had bestiality photos that Marilyn found as a young child. It's just a lot of weird stuff that went on. The neighbor, who thinks poisoned his childhood dog.
Yes.
Going on, and the neighbor was psycho too. So anyway, he was really just trying to be all these different things. And, you know, I mean, throughout it was rife with abuse. There was always a woman that he was using and abusing, and he was open about that. He was completely open about that. He would say things like, you know, I knew that this was bad and I was becoming the dark person that I'd always wanted to become, you know, and it's like, about like getting girls really wasted and like doing things. So, you know, I don't know how it was released in 1998. So I don't know if the world was just different then, or people just thought he was a shock rocker and it was for shock value.
Yeah.
Maybe the lack of internet. I mean, honestly, just like I don't, well, at the same time, they talk about how internet and gaming creates this kind of, you know, mentality and behaviors. And yet here's a guy who literally, like, it's just proof that mental health goes far beyond our exposure. Like, it really does.
Absolutely.
I mean, I totally agree that our exposure has definitely like harmed, you know, I say this to my daughter all the time. I have a 16-year-old and she's just like, you're so silly. Like, it's, you know, social media. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. Like, you are so connected to everything all day, every day. And that connection, one, it changes the way the brain even functions. Like, our attention span is garbage. I think they were saying our attention span is like literally 8 seconds. And I believe that. Like, I see it in myself. But it was just talking about the fact that we just, like, we have to know. And it's that FOMO 24/7. Like, we have to know what's going on now. And if we don't, we feel like this disconnect instantly. And it's so insane. And yet again, like, this mental health was happening for decades, but it was happening like in the dark. Like, we weren't really seeing it. So it's so like, I love talking about stuff like that just because, you know, and I love like true crime, especially older stuff, because they talk about statistics now that, well, it's higher now. I'm like, it's not higher now. I'm like, it's the fact that we are connected and like seeing it play out in real time. So it feels like this elevated number of like mental health issues and, you know, sycophants. But I'm like, they've always existed. We just haven't heard about them. Like, news was a 1 hour segment every night, you know, that you turned on and you turned off. It wasn't, you could turn your TV on and watch news for 24 hours a day and hear about the most, like you can turn the TV now and be like, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I mean, none of it's breaking news, but it's just the world we live in. So it's just crazy to me that he's like putting this out on there. But again, like 1988, like, we weren't connected. Like, we weren't, like, MySpace wasn't even a thing. Like, let's be real, you know? And, but this is the world that he like created for himself. So.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that, you know, obviously his mental health had something to do with all of that? And like, you know, we were talking about Milo earlier, like, do you think there's a factor of him just wanting attention for this stuff? Or like, do you think it just honestly is the way that his brain works?
I think that he was hiding in plain sight and telling us exactly who he was, but used the shock rocker persona as a shield to be like, oh no, I didn't do that. And it's sort of like the ultimate gaslighting, right? Just blame everything on the shock rocker persona. Oh, it's not real. This isn't real. And it's like, no, it's very much real. Like, these women, like, would even do these music videos. And like, the one woman that was in Game of Thrones, like, and like left battered, like, you know what I mean? And not, it wasn't consensual. And she had to like be like, what just happened to me? That was performance art, but that didn't really seem okay. And that didn't really seem like consensual. So I think the shock rocker act, this guy needs attention for sure. For sure. I think, you know, almost any guy that like wants to be on a stage and doing that stuff, like, clearly has like a deep seated need for like attention. But
no. But I think that's with like serial killers too. I think it's an attention factor. Like, I think
totally.
Like, it's the same, it's the same concept.
Well, and, you know, going back to Armie Hammer, like, obviously that stuff, like, you see that generationally, like, his dad, his grandfather, like, people in his family obviously were into the same thing. And part of that is a learned behavior, but like, being interested in eating people cannot be a genetic thing. There is no way that that's genetic. But like, how is this possible?
Is that a really extreme form of pica? Pica? Is that what it's called? Pica?
Yeah.
Where you like eat weird shit?
Yeah. Like what vitamin is he missing that he wants to like cut off his wife's rib and put it on the grill?
Oh
like,
my God. No.
I mean, you know, that to me is crazy. And it's, you know, the other question that I had for you, Lauren, is, you know, we heard from Effie on Instagram that she had seen this Vanity Fair article, and that this crazy revelation was going to come out about Armie Hammer. And then the Vanity Fair article came out, and, you know, if you wouldn't mind giving a little summary of what exactly that covered, we would love that. But it didn't really seem like it was anything new. I mean, besides the weird chair and whatever, but like there wasn't anything in it like, yeah, he actually like do real harm to this. Like I thought that he actually ate somebody and killed them, and that's what they were going to be revealing. But obviously they can't say that. But like, what's your take on that?
Here's my take on it. I was thrilled because I become great friends with his aunt, Casey Hammer. And if you guys are looking to like get more into that, this book, Surviving My Birthright by Casey Hammer, is everything. I mean, really, though, it does tell you the history of the family, and it really gets down to the nitty gritty of it. But so I was thrilled for the victims that they were in a credible publication like Vanity Fair to really corroborate their story and bring that, like, you know, Vanity Fair sort of weightiness to the story. I wasn't overwhelmed by the new info. I knew about the sex chair, and I knew about the letter that was written to Casey. So it was like, I kind of knew everything that was new too. So wasn't overwhelmed by it. They were doing a lot of, you know, read between the, like, not read between the lines, but kind of like alluding to things. And there's a lot that I know that they can't say in a publication like that for like litigation reasons. So they're really, I think, digging more on a lot of things. What I will say is I think that there's a lot more here that hasn't been shared, and I think that it will continue to unravel. You know, I don't know what the depth of Armie's, you know, atrocities are. I know for sure that he did some stuff to some women, you know, from what I've heard. Other than that, I mean, from what I've heard, I think he's capable of worse. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I wasn't overwhelmed by the Vanity Fair article in terms of like the content, but I was super happy for the victims. And I was also happy because not everyone's paying attention to this story. It feels like we're in this circle of people that are interested in it. So it feels like everyone knows it.
I mean, I didn't even know about it.
Brought it. Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I mean, who the heck is Armie Hammer, right? He's been in like a few things. You know, so I think a lot of people didn't know, but there is a lot there. And, you know, I mean, it's been going on for years within his family. So it kind of makes sense where he landed. And I mean, it's just, I feel so sorry for his aunt, because what ended up happening was, you know, when their grandfather, Armand Hammer, you know, had a lot of money. He had like $140 million. And so his aunt went to Armand on his deathbed and was like, you know, had this whole conversation with her grandfather that she'd be taking care of for life. And she also had like a Swiss bank account set up, and she was really going to be taken care of. And at the reading of the will, you know, the piece of paper that this lawyer had kind of put together and had disappeared. And all of a sudden the will's being read, and it's in total control of her brother, who let out like a diabolical grin.
Oh my God.
And she's getting nothing. And then they ended up giving her $250K, much of which was spent dealing with her mentally ill father. And then I think later on they settled for $1.4 million. But she was entitled to a lot more. And I know people are like, oh, well, but she was entitled to a lot more. And some guy, you know, swept in and allegedly kind of, you know, took it from her. So, and now he's just running amok, you know, and somebody I know actually met him. And it was a very interesting meeting at the La Quinta. And I don't know if you guys watched The Bachelor, but the Bachelor was filmed at the La Quinta. And so she met Michael Hammer, Armie's father, at the La Quinta, and he was, you know, mouthing off about how Armie's acting career was lame and all this stuff. And then he was saying like bad things about Elizabeth, Army's wife. And then my friend, who's like was like a new mom at this time, they were trying to invite her back to their hotel. So very interesting stuff. And this book really is jam packed. I mean, with so much information. But I think more will come out. I hope so.
Yeah. And with Casey Hammer, I mean, regardless of, what happened with the will and everything that's going on with that. And like, she is now, what we learned from the Vanity Fair article is that she's living on bologna sandwiches now. And like, she's having, she's just financially is having a really tough time. Did you start the GoFundMe for her? Is that what is happening with that?
So it was me and two of her friends kind of banded together, and Casey would never ask for help, and like she had no idea, but she needs like a little helping hand, and I know it's a hard time for a lot of people. So people have been generous, and that's great, and it's in my bio. And if anyone listening wants to send her coffee money or lunch money because you just feel in the goodness of your heart you want to, it's there. But, she's working in Home Depot as a kitchen designer, which is a great job. But, she's definitely struggling. And, it's just like another injustice towards a woman that, not everyone's lucky to be entitled to that money, but she was entitled to that money. And, this guy is now, living this lavish lifestyle. Her brother, who also in her book, you'll see he raped her when she was a kid.
Oh my God.
So,
who did?
She's had a lot of trauma. Armie Hammer's father, allegedly in the book, she said he raped her. So,
oh my gosh,
he's not a good guy, and it's just it feels very unjust. And I hope Casey gets her justice. And it's unfortunate a lot of this happened a long time ago. I'd love for her to get like some forensic people in to prove that she had these papers drawn, but it seems like in the book, it was almost like a Knives Out situation where the lawyer got a payoff. Maybe the person taking care of the grandfather got a payoff. Because that person was actually present in the hospital when the grandfather's wife died. And she just had a routine surgery and mysteriously died in the hospital, got pneumonia. So anyway, there's a lot in here that is just really, really something else. It's a story unlike any I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, we will definitely post that GoFundMe in the bio for the podcast and also on YouTube. So anyone listening, we will definitely make that available for everybody. And how did you get connected with her? I'm super curious how that happened.
Oh my gosh. Well, so my friend Caitlin, she was like, oh my gosh, Lauren, pay attention to this Armie Hammer stuff. And I'm like, no, cannibalism. I'm out. I don't like blood. It sounds like bloody, gory. No. So I eventually got roped in. She was on Reddit. She was like, I think his aunt has a book. So I looked into that and I found the book. And then I got it on Audible. I had it at a speed of 1.0 and I was so riveted. I turned it up to 1.6 and just started ripping videos on TikTok. Like,
oh my God,
the world needs to know. Didn't even occur to me that this is like a real person that has like an Instagram account with like 400 followers who released this book in 2015, self-published. It fell on deaf ears. It's like this hidden gem that nobody discovered because, she's been so suppressed by this family and, just everything. And so I just went nuts, and then it went viral and people started reaching out to her, and then I added her on Instagram, and then she made a TikTok and followed me, and then we like started communicating, and now we're friends, and I love her. And she came into a clubhouse I was on the other day for like 10 minutes, and after she left, everyone was like, we love her. Like, she is the nicest person ever.
Aww.
So
that makes it even harder, quite honestly. It's like, Jesus,
I know,
the good people,
Right. Yeah.
She's a very kind-hearted person.
If anyone wants to check out more and you don't have a lot of time, she did a Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald as well, which is a really good listen. So if anyone wants to hop over to Heather McDonald's podcast, that was a great listen. And you were on that as well. How did that go?
Oh my God. You know what? this is like my third podcast right now. So, I'm just a person who decided to scream into her phone because I'm bored and lonely like everyone else. And, I'm sick of talking to my cats, telling my cats the gossip. So, it was great. Heather's delightful. She's wonderful. I can see how she befriends so many people around the LA sphere. And it was really fun. It was a new experience for me. So hoping to do more podcasting. I think it's a great medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's a lot of fun. We're obviously still learning the ropes of it, but we've had a lot of fun so far. And, we're pretty thankful for everyone for being patient while I'm going through some crazy personal stuff now. But we're back and we're ready to really dig deep into all of the rabbit holes.
Yes. Including things like this.
There's
totally.
So many to go down.
So funny. Exactly. There are so many to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank goodness, because Netflix has been failing us.
Yeah.
I agree. I've been struggling. Again, it's the attention span. Like TikTok has broken me. I don't know about y'all, but my attention span's I try to watch a movie with my husband. It's painful. It's so painful. Yeah. I'm just like, it's going to be so good or I'm done. So yeah, I totally agree.
I'm like a goldfish now. You know what I mean? Like TikTok has ruined me too. And the only good things I've seen recently were the Woody Allen one and I Care a Lot. Those were the two that I was like, these are good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I Care a Lot was weird. I watched it.
It's good though.
I hated both of them. There was nobody to love. Like I was just
there was
both to die. Like I just
yeah. Yeah.
I know. The ending was the only thing that made me validated. Okay. The ending was
it was cathartic. They gave us what we needed.
I needed that. I was like, if she's not, it was bad.
She always plays like an absolute psycho. Like you never see her because she played that Gone Girl. She always plays like a real psycho. Rosamund
She
Pike.
does it so well though.
Rosamund Pike.
She really does.
Yeah. That movie was And I love Peter Dinklage. So I'm a Game of Thrones
me too.
fan. And so I'm like, when you are rooting for Peter Dinklage, like what world are we in right now? Like, why am I rooting for you? This is bad.
Oh
this movie has taken a churn.
It kept my attention at least though,
It did. I agree. But wow.
All right, everyone. Well, we are super thankful for you guys to join us today. I don't know if it's too soon to announce this, but we do have an exciting guest, hopefully maybe for next week, Nicole from TikTok, who is our recovering QAnon, who has come out as being ex-QAnon. She's been on CNN. She's been all over the place. She has actually agreed to come on the podcast. So we are super, super excited to have her on. And Lauren, if you want to give us just a little summary of where our followers can find you on all of your different social media handles, everyone knows where to follow you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm stoked for that episode. I can't wait to hear. That is amazing. Great fun. And you can find me on Instagram at TheZenBlonde, on TikTok at TheZenBlonde, and in my room with my cats as well.
Girl, you are taking over the world. I am like,
oh my God.
I went on to your page. I'm like blown away by the views that you are getting right now. Like do not forget us when you become like really, really famous because you are on your way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. Well, don't forget me because, I might need.
Oh no! You can't go out at the end. No.
You guys so much. Seriously, it's been a delight, and I love both your content. It's been great getting to know you both.
Thank you. Well, awesome, you guys. Thank you so much again, and we will see you next week, next Wednesday.
Yes.
So,
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.